process, breaking out of land. There's nothing on either side of us. And then what we'll do when we get to the far side here is we'll turn and we'll break out one more land. And what we'll do, this one that we're on right now, is we'll go around and we'll straddle it all the way around. And that'll push us over to that far side, and it'll push us to the land we make on that side, and we'll do a big chunk at once. Even though you're only making 20 feet at a time, all of a sudden in 20 minutes or so you can break out 5 or 6 passes, and it looks like you've accomplished something. So we've switched gears. We're at one of our other farms that was corn last year. It's kind of a sandy, loamy farm. So what we've got to do is we've got to disc it to break it open, get rid of these corn stalks. It's going into corn again this year. But we've got to disc it and get it opened up to get it to dry. There's no tile in this field. It's been pasture for 25 years. It is a very nice soil texture, but it doesn't dry very good. It doesn't drain very good. And we've got a lot of residue that was left. But it is right on the lake bank. It's 80-foot drop to the lake. That's Lake Erie out there. So it's 80-foot drop down, and we'll farm right to the edge of that within reason. So what we'll do is we'll chew this up with our discs here, and then we'll bring our conch skilled and packers in and chew it up again probably tomorrow after this is dried up a little bit. So you can see we're farming not quite to the edge. It's not worth losing a tractor over, but we are closer than you would build a house or a road. But it is nice having a view of the lake. We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 3 fields right on the lake. The rest of the farms are just across the highway from the lake. So it is a nice view we get to see. Working what we call a pipe yard for a gas plant. You can see out in the water down there is old boat lifts that used to pull gas line out into the lake and string it to the next town for processing. So it's a compressor station now that they bring the gas from the mainland in, put it through kind of like an air compressor and squeeze it and then push it back out into the lake under a pipeline that runs to the next big town where it comes up out of the lake again, and that's where they process it. So this is what they used to call the pipe yard. It was a lay down yard. They used to lay all the pipe down here, all their storage and everything. So there is a lot of rock in it. It's a very not nice field. As I said, we've been fighting pasture ground, so we're breaking up pasture ground last year. Now this year we've got to still fight the weeds, but it is a different soil texture than what we're used to, and we're only 5 minutes away from our home farm. So we've got our land leveler and packer with us now. We're going to get our land leveler unfolded and what it is. So it's a tube frame at the top with braces down, and it's angle iron on its edge all the way along. And what we do is we drag just below the top of the angle iron of dirt, roll it all the time. And what that does, it'll fill in any holes or divots, and it'll scrape off any high spots. I gotta get out now with a sledgehammer. All those joints have to be hammered together. A couple of them are a little bit unlevel and then hooked together so that it's a rigid frame 25 feet wide. And then we gotta get our packer unfolded. So you can see it's a much rougher ride than it was when we were disking ground. It's because we're crossing the tile drains and we're crossing the way we've disked, so we're crossing the ridges it made a little bit. So it's not a smooth ride. So you can see what we're doing. If you look at the bars on that leveler, every now and then they'll really pile up with dirt, and then all of a sudden they'll clean out as that dirt's sliding along it and we're moving forward. And what that's doing is it's dropping the dirt in the low spots and scraping it off the high spots. It's doing that all the way through that leveler. It's got angles that run both ways, and then a flat straight piece along the back that's dragging some dirt with us. And then our packer, all that's doing is breaking down the clumps and the clods a little bit and squeezing that dirt down and firming things back up. But you can see beside us, just about in line with that dual that's spinning, you can see how coarse it is and then how fine it is. And why we're doing this so soon is, as long as that dirt has a little bit of moisture in it, it'll break up really well when it hits the steel and we roll it against itself and beat it up. When that dirt dries out for 2-3 days, it's kind of like concrete and you just kind of roll big clumps around and it's harder to beat up. So we always try to work ground and level it and do this kind of work to it as fast as we can behind each other. Just giving it enough time that it'll dry out, break up, and get rid of kind of that mud stuff. So that's what we're doing. We've got 30 acres back here to level. We'll probably level it twice. Probably next time we'll go on a slight angle, but we can pick up some speed and do it. And the reason we're doing this time of year is this is going into wheat this fall, and so it'll be wheat into the fall, into the next summer, and then we'll deep rip it, put canola. So it'll be a year and a half before we work this ground again. And it was getting really unrough and really hard to spray it, combine it, plant it. It was getting really rough and really hard to handle. So it makes sense to put a little bit of spring tillage into it and smooth it up for the next year or so. And then when we're done with wheat, before we put our canola on it, our new Evansman leveler, for those of you that follow me on Instagram, we bought a 12-foot wide, 45-foot long Evansman leveler. And what that is, it's a single blade that runs on a set of wheels, kind of like an axle. So it's 12 feet wide and it's 45 feet long. So that blade runs on an axle, and as those wheels come up, it drops the blade down, and vice versa. If those wheels go down, it lifts the blade up to dump dirt. So it kind of acts like a belly scraper. The difference with this compared to ours, so our leveler itself is maybe 20 foot long from our front wheels to our back. So I can fill in like ruts and tile drains really well because they're not a big distance. My leveler will scrape across the ground and hold that plane. Whereas at 45 foot, I can fill in kind of big swales in the field that are harder to fill in. They're harder to see. There may be only an inch or two difference in depth, but there may be 30 foot long or 30 feet wide. My leveler will just kind of go through those on a soft swale. It'll fill it in a little bit, but not great. So 45 foot, what we'll do is we'll drag that probably 4 to 5 times. We'll go lengthwise, crosswise, diagonal the otherwise on a 90 degree. And what that'll do is that'll really smooth this farm up, and basically it acts like a wood plane. We call them land planes here. They act like a wood plane that they'll take any high spot and they'll take any low spot and they'll fill them all in evenly. So after we get done with our disc ripper, we'll drag this leveler over just to smooth it up so you can drive over it at speed. And then we'll take our Evansman and we'll spend a couple days back here with that, going over it every direction and getting rid of all these little holes and everything before we plant the canola. You can see how smooth the packers are running back there. They're not really bouncing much compared to what the tractor is. And you can see there we come up empty, we're picking up full again. So those are filling in low spots. And what I'm watching is I'm watching that front angle right behind those front 2 dolly wheels to see how full those run all the time. You can see that side we're running a little bit fuller. But this is a dusty project. I've had times where you can't see the packer behind us. It'll be so dusty, and the wind will just be right. If the ground's dry, you won't even be able to see that packer because it's such a fine dust. You're grinding this dirt against itself. So I want to show you guys something. I don't know if you can see it, but right here, 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 you can see our tile drains, the different dirt. It's the yellow clay we've dug up when we dug them. But I just want to show you, you can see the difference from this side to the middle to that side of what our tillage equipment's doing. So we'll get out and have a look at that quick. So you can see here, this is what the ground looks like after we disked it. There's still clods like the size of my hand. And this is what the ground looks like after we've leveled and packed it. So there's still some big chunks. They're kind of pushed down. The field is a lot smoother. But I'll show you why we pull the packer behind us too. So here's right behind the leveler. Hasn't been packed yet. Still some decent size pieces. Like that's just about baseball size. And that's why we pull this packer. So what it does, you can see how it's pushing into the dirt and firming it up. What that does, it helps us retain some of our moisture, but it also, we call it a tooth and sprocket. So these are your teeth, and that's your sprocket. And those kind of grind that dirt up as it moves through here. So that's what we're doing. We've got a few acres left to go. But I just thought I'd show you guys that's why we're pulling these two pieces hooked together and how we're smoothing the ground down. As I said, you can see when you look across, you can see a ridge here and another ridge here. That lever will take all that dirt, pull that all off of there. So, I'll leave you with that, and I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. It really helps grow the channel, and stay tuned for more videos as we get into planting this spring. Talk to you later.